Hello, hello everybody. Happy Tuesday, and that means it is time for another episode of Tuesday Talks. And this week I am welcoming a new friend, Shelby, onto this platform to share her experience with Rodan and Fields and also just kind of give her take about the business opportunity and what that means. So I am going to add her here, or Shelby, if you can press that little camcorder in the bottom with a plus in it to add yourself on, and then I'll accept you here, and then we can get started. So I'm so excited. And to preface for you guys, which you probably hear this most every week, is Shelby and I don't know each other. So we have never met in person. We've actually never really talked except for on Instagram with a little bit of an exchange, which is really fun. But I'm excited to learn more about her as well. So Shelby, hey Nikki, I'm so glad you're on. We're gonna bring Shelby on here in just a moment. Let's see if I can grab her. Okay. I don't know, Shelby, can you, hey Nikki, can't seem to find the button, so sorry. Okay, no problem, let's see. Okay, thanks for bearing with us, guys. I'm gonna see if I can get, okay, I just invited you, and see if you can see that. There should be like a red bubble saying, like, requesting to join. Ah, there you are. Awesome. Hey Shelby, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good, good. It's so nice to see you. I actually met you on one of your trainings, and
Yes.
So I got to see you then, and then I immediately just was like, I'm gonna reach out to her and see if she'll do my interview series. So.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy you're here as well. And so for anybody who's watching this interview series today, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. We'll answer them live. So if you have any questions, even if it's not exactly what we're talking about, we're happy to answer those too.
Please do.
Yeah. So Shelby, can you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit like why you joined Rodan and Fields, or how it was presented to you and what made you say yes?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that question because I haven't been asked it in a long time. Once you're in the business for a while, sometimes you're like, how did I get in this? And so it's good to like put yourself back in the shoes of somebody who may be thinking the same thing of like, what is that thing that they're talking about? So hi everybody, my name is Shelby Rose. I am 27. Yeah, I think that's all right. 27 years old. I am a new mama, so my brain's a little bit everywhere, to our first precious sweet girl. And I am married to a man who is in seminary school. So right now we're putting him through school. So we've got quite the little fun house over here. And I first was introduced to Rodan and Fields through the products. So I had pretty severe acne all throughout middle school, high school. It just was like something that I lived with. We did rounds of Accutane, we did pills, we did, I asked my mom for so many expensive creams from the dermatologist. I mean, bless her heart. If you're a mom on here, now I know, like you'll do anything, you really will. And my mom saw a Facebook post from Rodan and Fields. Somebody had posted a before and after. So if you're a consultant listening and you think those don't matter, they do. And so she reached out and she bought me an unblemished regimen. And that regimen finally was the thing that cleared all the acne that the dermatologist and the pills and all the really hard things couldn't do. And so instantly I was hooked. I was in love. And I was like, I will afford these products. I will find a way. I will figure it out. So fast forward, I was about to be a newlywed. My husband and I were engaged. I knew like, oh, wow, real bills are coming. And I was pretty privileged up until that point. My mom would just order me the products and just send them to me. And she's like, hey, I love you, baby girl, but I'm not going to do that anymore when you get married. And I was like, come to Jesus moment. My journey into Rodan and Fields was not fancy. I was like, okay, I already love these products. If I can just share enough to cover my own, then the acne won't come back. And that was like a really big drawing thing for me. Was I was like, I'll do what I need to do to make sure that I can stay on this. But because and you know, at that time, I look back, I was a biology student. I had maybe a couple hundred followers on Instagram. I was posting about like salamanders and beetles. Like I was nowhere near the skincare girl. And I love to say that because I think we think like, oh, I have to be this type of person. And like, you just do not. If you have a heart to help Shelby's on the other side of the world not suffer with acne, then you have a why and a reason to be here. So I was like, okay, so I joined the business, just, entry level, was like, I'll just make enough to cover my products. And I got so excited, Jesslyn. I started like having my own little crew of customers who was having those same experiences, who were like, oh my gosh, the acne's gone. Oh my gosh, like the sunspots are gone. Oh my gosh, like I don't look like I haven't slept in 4 weeks with a new baby. And I was like, dang, this is fulfilling. Like I won't say anything is like easy or simple. A business takes work, but it was work that felt like worthwhile and worth doing. And so I kept on. And by the time that my husband and I were married, our first few months of marriage, I was paying for our rent. I was paying for our date night. It felt so cool that early on in marriage to contribute to our house financially. And my husband was in ministry at the time. So if anybody's in ministry, like that's extra helpful because you don't go into ministry for money. And so fast forward to today, my business has been what our family has needed it to be in every season so beautifully. Sometimes, during the pandemic, it was full-time income. Like that is what we relied on full time. And, I don't think that I was I don't think any little girls grow up and they're like, I can't wait to sell skincare for the rest of my life. But that is what happened. And that's what was paying the bills. And I was so grateful for it. And then I decided to actually use my teaching degree that I got. So I transitioned into teaching, and then it became this like really awesome, like side income, but really was a whole extra income that paid my husband's seminary tuition, that paid our books, that allowed our family to still like live pretty comfortably in a season that society would tell us that we really couldn't. And so now it's one of a couple different businesses that I do. It really was like this beautiful launching pad, I would call it. I came in just this really like nervous, nerdy biology girl with acne, and I came out really feeling like a true like empowered business owner, in the sense of the skills that I learned in RNF. I learned, I don't know, just gave me the confidence to go out and do some stuff that fell out of my wheelhouse. So here we are now.
Yeah, that's amazing. I actually didn't know your story at all. So I was like totally tuned into this because when you describe yourself, like I always envision you more as like just a bubbly, friendly personality who probably like my first like impression of you is, oh, she's got tons of friends. Like, look at how friendly she is. Look at how like personable she is. Like, look at how bubbly she is. And you were like, I barely had any followers. I had acne. I was talking about beetles and salamanders. Like, that is just so funny. And it's just amazing. And it's a testament to this type of business, is that we all have different backgrounds. And that's what makes it really beautiful, is that we can still excel. So how long ago was that, Shelby, that you like jumped into the business? Because I didn't realize you're only 27.
Yes.
That's incredible.
So that timeline, I started 4 or 5 years ago. So I was 22 at the time. So really just like a baby in the world, which also something that I adore about this business is 22-year-olds can be successful, 82-year-olds can be successful. And I don't just say that on a whim. I say that because that's what our teams are made off of. So when I sit like on team calls, it's just so neat to look back and see, hey, that newlywed girl or that college girl, and then all the way to like people my grandma's age rocking this. I'm like, please tell me tips, like what's going on. So it's a neat. I don't know if there are very many other places like that in the world where you see that age range of women come together.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you kind of already touched on this too, like
Yeah.
what Rodan and Field's opportunity has really done for your family. And like clearly it's provided a stable income during times of uncertainty, but has also afforded you guys the opportunity, and correct me if I'm wrong,
No.
but what I heard was it afforded you guys the opportunity for your husband to pursue his dreams.
Yes, yes. So my husband is always, it has been his conviction that he is meant to be a pastor. That is what he wants to do. And we, early on in our marriage, were like, we'll do whatever we need to do to make that happen. I was like, I'm on board. I'm marrying into this. I know what I'm signing up for. And I knew that that was going to mean that I needed to work, that I was definitely, I admit, I was the woman who was like, I can't wait. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm not going to work. I'm going to cook, all the things. And so when I found myself in love with this man, that I was like, that may not be my reality for a little while. I kind of took that pill and accepted it. It was like, okay, I'm gonna need to work, and I'm gonna need to work really hard. And there was a pivotal moment for me when I was teaching. I was sitting in a break room of other teachers, and a woman looked at me and she goes, "Ooh, you're young. I hope you know what you're signing up for the next 30 years." And I had this moment where I was like, I don't know if I can do that. And like, there are so many people out there like that is for them, but for me, it lit this fire under me, and I was like, okay, I need to find a way. I don't mind working. I actually love working, but I need to find a way that is more flexible, that is not going to drain me, that allows me to still be that like wife and supportive role, and eventually the mom that I wanted to be. And so Rodan and Fields, I will tell you, Jessalyn, like it is not like my passion, my end all, like put Rodan and Fields consultant on my gravestone. But it has been this like steady presence in my life that has given us options. And I feel like that word is like a buzzword right now. And like what that actually looks like is since he's been in school, like I've had options to do things part-time. I've had options to take a really long unpaid maternity leave and get to be there with my baby. I had a really complicated birth. And so that time, like I needed that really. So it's given us options for me to be able to travel with him to different pastors' conferences, to all sorts of different things. So it has been like the sweetest surprise. And it didn't come without work. I always want people to know that it didn't happen overnight. But when I really am honest with myself, I'm like, Shelby, you are selling skincare from your bathroom while your baby sleeps in the next room. It is not that complicated. And in those moments, I'm really, really grateful for what it's done.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that you reopened that conversation just like from the first question I asked, and just kind of elaborated a little bit more and talked about the options, because you have also another business that you've created because of Rodan and Fields. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and like, how did that come about? Like, where did you go from skincare to that? And you know what I mean? So like, just kind of fill us in on where you were thinking for that.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what I was thinking that I could start more businesses. But what is so neat, and I feel like something that holds women back from starting businesses like this, like network marketing business, side gigs, whatever they want, is they say things along the lines of like, oh, like that's just not me, or that like just doesn't fit. And I'm like, yeah, you're so right. Like this may not feel like what you're used to doing or normal things. And what gets me excited about that is I'm like, you have no idea what you are capable of. Like this feeling outside your comfort zone is like the very reason that I want you to look at it, because jumping into RNF, being placed really in this like community of women who I learned what self-development was for the first time ever. I learned like what collaboration, like what masterminding. I learned what business strategy was. I learned what sales was. All of these things that, again, we are playing with beetles in the dirt over here, okay? Thinking I was going to be a biology professor forever. It just opened up a world. And I think what's so cool and what I want people to know is like, hey, you may get in and be like, you know what? That wasn't everything. Like maybe I am just still comfortable being the biology professor, and like doing some skincare on the side, or you may get in and it may unlock this whole part of you. That's what happened to me that you did not know was there. And so I went from like biology nerd over to like, I didn't even know I liked business. I didn't even know that this like made me so excited. I went from like, oh, I'll be a stay-at-home mom to like, no, I have so much to share with the world. And like, that was really, really neat. And so RNF became like this springboard, so to say. I started a marketing company that now helps different women in different network marketing companies have content, so they are not like sitting on Canva, because I was like, cannot do that. And so it helps them save time. I'm a sales coach for a company called Guide Culture. And so it was like this key that unlocked. And I think the part about that excites me for other women specifically is that we think in this industry, like, oh, if I start one of those things, like it's going to be everything, or like I have to get to the top or it's not worth it. And I'm like, it really can be something that you like step into for growth, for personal development, and see where it takes you. Because I know my story is not the only one at all. So really, it doesn't have to become your whole personality. It can become the place where you grow and learn and are connected to these other things. But when I look back at it, it has been so life-giving. I think that's the word. Like it has infused me with just like an excitement for things. So it's wild.
Yeah, so incredible, because it's funny, like you said, you are not the only story that took Rodan and Fields and used it as a launching pad to dive into other interests that you didn't even know you had prior to joining Rodan and Fields. Or even you could use it as another network marketing company if some of you are not with Rodan and Fields and you're in another network marketing company. You can use that as a launching point into a new trajectory in your life, in your family, in your business, in all of these things. And I think that's what's really cool about network marketing is it's not limiting.
Yes. Yeah. And I've done both. I've started in network marketing and I've started a business just from scratch. And you know what's so funny? Somebody asked me, I don't think they meant to be snarky, but it sounded snarky, where they were like, oh, well, how does it feel now to start a real business? And I was like, a heck of a lot harder. Like, I was like, I don't know why you think that like you're better because of that, because now I'm realizing it was so much easier to start Rodan and Fields because so much was done for you. And so what's so neat is like, especially in today's age where like, it costs if you want to start a gym, if you want to start a bar studio, if you want to start X, Y, and Z, it's really expensive. And so that opportunity really is only limited to a select group. And what I just love about network marketing is that typically entry level is incredibly low. And so it's just, it is an opportunity that anyone can have access to. And to me, like, I am like, if you really want to start a real bit, like, please know what you're signing up for. But it is almost like a starter business for so many people. And you can become profitable so much quicker. And so to me, I'm like, if I have a woman in front of me who's like, hey, I really have this like bug, I need extra income, I need to do this, I am always going to first point her to network marketing, because I know in my gut, like, she has a higher chance of being profitable way quicker. That's logical to me.
Yeah, and that's amazing that you said that, because that's leading right into my next question, because the climate is kind of crazy. If we look at where economic status, I mean, 2022 has been really difficult for a lot of people financially. A lot of people are restructuring their finances or restructuring the way that they purchase, the way that they're thinking about the upcoming year and what that looks like. And I think that with that financial climate, there is an opportunity here, but like, what advice would you give to someone who's kind of thinking about money, like, oh my God, I don't have it. Like, what do I do?
Totally. The first thing that I would tell somebody is, we live in a day and age where it has never been easier to make money online. We live in a day and age, like, I feel like about 2 years ago, making money online used to like sound like a scam. Like it sounded this like weird pyramid schemey, like, oh, only the weird people do that. And
Yeah.
now like it has almost become a necessity. I was just reading a study the other day that said that 40% of American households have started a second job out of necessity. Not out of just, oh my gosh, I want like some extra fun Christmas money, but out of like, our current income is no longer meeting the needs that our family has. And so when I saw that, I was like, this is no longer some just like cute thing that house moms do to like make some extra spending money. This is a real need. And so I was just telling my friend the other day, she's like, hey, we've got to figure out something. Like, I think I might do this. I think I might do this. And I was like, hey, just before you do anything, try something that doesn't put you in debt first to make more money. Like try something where you can monetize what you're already doing. Okay. So, and what I know we're all already, if you're sitting on this Instagram platform, then you are already utilizing Instagram and making money for all of the ads that they send you. And so why not take that time and use it to your advantage? And that can look as, to me, the simplest way to do that is getting a link to things that you already sell. And influencers made that popular, and I feel like sometimes we think that right is reserved to them. But take my story and know that like the salamander chasing girl from Tennessee, if she can do it, you can do it. Absolutely can. And there's just like, there's nothing weird about it anymore. Like the curtain has been pulled back, and people are like, I almost see it sometimes, to be seriously honest with you, Jessalyn, when I see people spending so much time on social media and they are like on here posting every day, keeping people updated with their lives, and they are not making money in some way off of it, I really ask, I'm like, what are they doing? Well, I feel bad. I'm like, why? That is a lot of time and energy not to be monetizing. So if you are somebody that your industry trusts, that your audience trusts, and you yourself are a trustworthy person who is going to share what you like authentically, there is no reason. There is just no reason in today's age not to be taking advantage of what Instagram and Facebook have given us.
Absolutely. And to put it into a different perspective, in case somebody can't like wrap their mind around social media, it's the same thing as if somebody had complimented your shirt.
Yes.
And said, where did you get that? Mm-hmm. And then you say, oh, I got it at this department store, or I got it at Target, or I got it off Amazon. You are not making a commission off of that, but you just sold that garment to someone.
You absolutely did. And I don't know why we get weird about when we do make a commission off of it, because what I've learned is when somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, where's that sweater from? I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's like probably from TJ Maxx. Like I don't give them as the care that I would if somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, Shelby, what do you use on your skin? I'm like, well, let me pull out my notebook and start taking notes on you, because you are going to get the best recommendation I can give you. So we think that like making commission off things makes us like less authentic. And I think it's the exact opposite. Like we as humans are motivated by reward. It's like simple psychology. We perform better when there is a reward. People are served better when there's a reward. Have you ever walked into a store that like does not work on commission and you're like, can anyone help me? Like, why does nobody care? I'm gonna spend some money. Where if you walk in a store with commission, people are like, hey, I'm here, I'm serving your needs, and I'm gonna help you buy. And so that's how I see it.
Yeah, and I think it's also the difference not only about the commission versus non-commission, but also about the family approach to sales versus like a corporate cold approach to sales. Absolutely. Because I also work for a family business here locally, and our approach is like treat every customer like family. Get to know them. We write thank you cards every week to the customers. Like we call them when new products come in to invite them to come shop. Those types of things, those best practices are the same thing for your own business as well. They
absolutely are. And for me, like I get so much more excited to shop from places like you. And so people, I can't wait for the world to like catch on that they can have that experience, like family run business with like a simple link. It really is possible. And I'm really seeing the mindset shift to that. Like it's been really cool what's been happening in the online space lately.
It's so cool. So with that, Shelby, can you give us any advice? I know you've talked a lot today. You've given us so much information, but can you share any advice you would have for someone who's thinking about network marketing or thinking about Rodan and Field's opportunity and isn't quite sure exactly what to do? Like, what would you say to somebody? Because we know you guys are watching and we just want to give you this information with no strings attached so that you can be best informed. So what would you say?
Honestly, I think if you were sitting like at my dining room table, I would be like, hey, you're not going to die if this doesn't work out. Like, I know that sounds really dramatic, but I want to take it seriously, people's like concerns. And it is a decision. Like, it's a good decision. If you weren't a little bit nervous, I tell people like, it's probably not a big enough, meaningful enough decision. But I do think we put so much weight in the sense of like, hey, if I start that business, I am like tattooing buy skincare for me on my forehead. And you're just not. Like, you get to come in and you get to try this. I tell every single person who is looking at this business, like, hey, the very first thing you have to do is love the products. So we don't even talk business until that is taken care of. Okay. So you get your products in the mail. Getting them as a consultant is just smart because you save so much money. And then if you do decide to share, it's just a lot easier. But get them in the mail. Try them on yourself. You've got to be a product of the product. And then as you start to love them, it is as simple as, hey, yeah, I got this sweater here. And you can get your feet wet. I think that people think that they're going to come in and we're going to be like, here's like, you have to post 4 times a day for the next 30 days. And I'm like, wow, I don't know about that. And now, don't get me wrong. If you are a rock star and you want to run for the hills, come be on my team and run for the hills, sweet girl. But for the majority of people, it is a very natural evolution of, hey, I'm excited about what this company is doing. I'm gonna put my toes in. I'm gonna get my box of products. And then naturally, as I'm starting to use them, I'm gonna start sharing them with my network. And just like I, circle all the way back to the very beginning of my story, it happened by sharing. I shared the products with my next door neighbor. Her acne cleared up. I got excited about that. So that made me a little bit more bold. And the next time somebody asked me, I didn't be like, oh, thanks. I said, thank you. And I'd love to tell you what I'm using. And then that changed her dark spots. And so that gave me a little bit more confidence, and it just naturally evolves like that. And so you are allowed to have that story. That's what I would tell you. But I also would be very, very bold with you and tell you there is real money to make in affiliate marketing. There is real development to have in network marketing. It can be the thing. And I know from my personal story, that is the baseline of your family. It really is. But you get to choose where you are on that spectrum. And I can't speak for every other network marketing company. I know for a fact that's super true in Rodan and Fields, is that you are welcome, whether you want $200 for your next Costco run or you need $2,000 to pay rent. And I've lived in both extremes. So that's what I would tell you. And then I'll give you a hug.
Oh my gosh, that was so amazing. Shelby, I can't thank you enough for jumping on here.
Thanks for having me.
Your experience and also getting to know you. It's been so eye-opening and just magical, honestly. I wish I could. But for anybody who's either watching this live with us now or on the replay, because we're going to share this on multiple platforms, feel free to direct message either Shelby or myself. Our inboxes are always open. No question is too big. No question is too small. We just want to get your questions answered. And even if it's just like, hey, what about, something else that doesn't have anything to do with Rodan and Fields? That's fine. We're here to make friendships too. So feel free to contact us at any time. And again, Shelby, thank you so much for sharing your
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to see what you do in the future. I mean, with your other businesses and where you're going, it's just going to be so exciting. So make sure you guys follow her if you don't already. And thanks so much for joining us for Tuesday Talks.
Bye guys. Thank you. Bye.